Welcome, delicious friend. They say that fallen London is a city of 1,000 stories, and they'd be right. And I'm here to share those stories with you. So sit back, pour yourself a glass of Broken Giant 1844, and enjoy. Happy New Year, delicious friend, and what a year it is. The city is already changing. The Empress's shadow walks among us. Surface politics, whispers from the mayor and the masters, how thrilling, but not, I'm afraid, the topic of today's discussion. There are factors that require me to keep what I know of these events to myself. I apologize for any disappointment. No, today I want to talk to you about our neighbours from down the river, the Devils. Do be warned, the things I will tell you today are both dangerous to know and hard to discover. If you wish to find them out for yourself, you may leave. If you are staying, do get comfortable. This may be a long one. You know the story of Satan, I presume, an angel cast down for his arrogance, forced to languish in hell, either devouring Judas Iscariot in a frozen lake, or giving passionate speeches about how it is better to rule in hell than serve in heaven. I prefer the latter reading personally. They both, however, are likely not the truth. They do, however, provide a touch of irony when you learn that hell is no longer ruled by devilish princes. Indeed, the supposed first rebels in all creation were themselves ousted in a season of revolutions. Hell is now ruled by a maddeningly complex and pitiless system of bureaucrats and the like, a system most of us will likely never see more than a glimpse of. And what of the princes, the one-time rulers of hell? Well, those not captured in the revolution fled, mostly to Mount Palmerston, where they dwell in the volcano's crater and keep to themselves for the most part. Though that is not to say they aren't plotting. Oh, believe me, they are. The Brimstone Convention has not forgotten the season of revolutions, and they have not forgiven their rebellious subjects. Other princes lay imprisoned or exiled on long-forgotten Untersee Islands, places where they have shed their humanoid costumes and reverted to their true and horrifying form. The Devils of the Brass Embassy will pay handsomely for their location, with the location of just one being worth over 1,000 echoes. Now, why did I say the stories of Dante and Milton are likely not close to the truth? Well, consider for a moment that hell is not the homeland of the Devils, and neither is heaven, or at least heaven as conventionally taught. If they were not spawned from hell nor cast down from heaven, then where did they come from? Well, there are worlds beyond ours, worlds behind mirrors where dreams shape reality, where cats and snakes war, and where a hive sits empty. Parabola. I can't say why the Devils left, for I do not know, and I doubt they'd appreciate the questions. They were different then, even more inhuman. They were the ones who created Prisoner's Honey as part of one of their myriad of deals. This one with the Finger Kings, the dream serpents of Parabola. There's a reason the Devils can so freely wander a Christian-ish city, namely the Campaign of '68. I'm sure you've seen the veterans of the conflict, with their hollow stares and empty expressions. For you see, after the fall, the Royal Army mounted an invasion of hell, and it went disastrously wrong. Most of the troops were overrun and slaughtered before they even penetrated the outer defences of hell. Those who made it in saw terrible things, fields of burning roses and a throne in the shadow of gallows. The lucky ones got back to London alive with only memories and nightmares to haunt them. Some of them were likely sequestered away in the Royal Bethlehem. Others you can usually find in Watchmaker's Hill. The unlucky ones were either hung or enslaved on brass ships until unknown ransoms were paid. The Bishop of Southwark fought in the campaign, and much as I dislike the man and he dislikes me, I pity him for the horrors that he saw there. Since then, the Devils have built somewhat cordial relations with the city and its people, though I doubt the church is happy about that, nor do I doubt that given the chance, many in the church would happily try another campaign. Time, it seems, has a strange relationship with the Devils. They mention years that have not been, times that may never be, days that should not exist but do. Their fashions and their terrifying machines seem alien to us and yet reflect this relationship with time. Now, of course, the thing most people associate devils with is the soul trade. What with death being, well, complicated down here, many devils don't wait until death to take a person's soul, though it is considered bad form for them to do it without permission and without a contract. Indeed, it is estimated that around 11% of London may be soulless, and I will admit I once counted myself amongst that group. How? Well, Perhaps there was a young archivist. Perhaps he was lonely. Perhaps he attracted the attention of a most affectionate devil and a beguilingly beautiful, quiet deviless. Perhaps he grew close to them, the devil especially. Perhaps the devil visited him one night, and perhaps after a long and wonderful evening of conversation and good brandy, did the devil lean in, whispering temptations into the archivist's ear. And then perhaps the archivist woke up with a scar on his wrist, a contract on his table, and a wound on his heart that would not heal. A wound he couldn't feel, for he could feel nothing at all. Not joy or sorrow, not pain or pleasure. Perhaps he could no longer laugh, perhaps he could no longer cry, perhaps he became dangerously close to joining the drownies in the stolen river. Perhaps that is what happened. I'm sorry, that was unbecoming of me. I didn't mean to act so emotionally. I do hope you'll forgive me, delicious friend. I can't blame him, I suppose. He was only acting as devils do. And he even pointed me in the right direction to get my soul back. He and I are... well, I'm not sure. He works at my newspaper, and he is still a dear friend of mine. Perhaps he felt the same way as I. It's unlikely, I know. Yet I still enjoy having him around. I suppose we should move on to the darker side of the soul trade, spirifage. Spirifage is the unlicensed trade in souls practiced by spirifers, scum who prey on urchins, the poor and the desperate. They take their souls and leave them without even the security of a contract. Those the spirifers prey on aren't like those who could find the lack of a soul useful, lawyers, politicians, and the like. No, they simply prey on those who can't fight back. It's disgusting. Now, don't mistake this for a condemnation of the soul trade in its entirety. Despite my own experiences and my view of spirifage, I honestly think the trade in and of itself is vital to London and our relations with our neighbours. Some people are genuinely better off without their souls, some people don't seem to miss them much, and groups like Bethnic College are working to eliminate the prejudices the soulless face, a movement I wholeheartedly support. And what then of the eternally damned? What happens to those whose time it is to go to hell itself? Well, it's simple, really. The trains leave from Moloch Street Station, and are always kept on a tight schedule. You can often find hawkers and traders at the platform, selling the possessions of the damned. After all, it's not like they'll need it where they're going. The journey to hell is unusual. I have made the trip once and seen what lies beyond the gates, but I won't speak of it. I can't, I can barely remember it, truth be told, and fear grips me when I try to recall what happened, what I saw, and what I learned. Finally, I should warn you that despite my friendships with devils, despite my reputation for these brazen associations, I am not stupid and I am not blind. The devils are dangerous. If you want an example of the danger they pose, you need look no further than their hunts in the Forgotten Quarter, where those who join often end up as the quarry and... well, I doubt I need to tell you what happens if you're caught, but even then, regular victims of the hunt get off lightly, compared to any of the wretched seekers of the name. If the devils find one of them during their hunts, they subject them to such savagery, such brutality that anyone remotely normal would likely be driven to end their mad crusade. But, well, I doubt the Seekers care, wretched, pitiful creatures, and yet I am fascinated by their search. No. Forgive my lack of restraint today, delicious friend. I will try to avoid such outbursts and tangents in the future, and I hope you take my warnings to heart. Not only about the devils, but about those who offend them so uniquely. There are things we were never meant to learn, you understand. There are paths we should not walk, paths we are drawn to despite our best efforts. I fear... well, it's not my place to burden you with my fears. I hope to see you again soon. Do be careful, and keep a close watch on your soul.